وذكر فإن الذكرى تنفع المؤمنين.
I have no doubt that Allah will not leave us alone. Allah will not forego or forsake any one of us who is sincere to Him. What is upon us is to be sincere. What is our job to work on and struggle with is to be sincere. And whoever is sincere for Allah will definitely be taken care of by Him. Whether they're martyred, whether they're injured, whether they're going through a difficult situation, no one has gone through more difficult situations than the prophets and messengers of Allah. They went through the most difficult, and those are the most beloved to Allah. So difficulty is not a sign of preference or love from Allah. In fact, it is a way of Him removing impurities from a person and them attaining Jannah through that method. And so when He loves someone, He gives them difficulties and tests, and then He gives them paradise. So for sure, our people are not in a state of loss. They are suffering, yes. The real loss is distance from Allah. The real loss is oppressing another person. And that means carrying a person's own sins and their own burdens, in addition to the burdens of those that they oppressed. So the more haughty and arrogant a person is, like Fir'aun, the more he carried on the burdens and sufferings of the people on his back in his book of accountability, he will have to pay for every single act of injustice that is done to every single person, and not even a small, like the injustice of one person hitting another person, like a ram hitting another ram, not even that will go without justice. So every little thing that someone has caused pain to another will be brought accountable for. So Netanyahu is the Pharaoh of our time. Every single suffering that any Palestinian has gone through because of his directives and his choosing policies and him wanting this to happen will be on his back, will be on his book. So who is at loss here? Those who suffer a little bit for some time and then they'll be given Jannah, or those who think they have an authority and they have a power while they are still in complete need of Allah. They need to sleep, they need to eat, they need to go to the bathroom. They're not in a state of complete freedom from the functionalities of their body and from family and so on and so forth. And yet they are tacking on their own sins and the sins of other people. In Jannah, no one needs to go to the bathroom. No one is aging. No one is hurting. There's no pain. There's no suffering. There's no sleep. There's no, bad family members. There's no, what they say, ghil. There's no bad feelings amongst each other. So this person has taken, what he considers to be Jannah in this world. He takes this position and he shakes about his authority. And he's taking on the sins of these people, the deaths of innocent people in his own country. Some of the soldiers, they don't want to be there. They're there because they have to be there, but they don't believe in that cause, and they will be dealt with because they're there for XYZ reason. And him forcing those people to do what he wants for invalid reasons, he's going to deal with it. So who's the one at loss here? For a short while he can taunt and he can flap his wings, but at the end of the day, where is Pharaoh? Pharaoh has been in his grave since how many centuries? Your great-great-great-grandmother was alive and he was in his grave getting punished. And then your great-grandmother was alive and he was in his grave getting punished. And then your grandmother was alive and he was in his grave getting punished. And then your mother was alive and then he was still in his grave getting punished. And then you became alive and he was in his grave getting punished. So was that short amount of time that he was alive, was it worth whatever he chose to do? Of course not. He just made those choices because he rejected Allah. So the real loss is not the people who are suffering. The real loss are those who are oppressors. And this is something we should be careful of and make sure that we don't oppress anyone. Not in our family life, not in those around us, not in the neighbors, and so on. Make sure, try to do our best not to oppress anyone. The loss is with the oppressors, and Allah is not with the oppressors. It's better to be oppressed than to be the oppressor, if there had to be one or the other. I'm not saying go and seek to be oppressed, but if there had to be one or the other, it's better to be the one who is oppressed than to be the oppressor. Because on the Day of Judgment, if you are owed rights, if you are owed something, it's better to be owed on the Day of Judgment than to come on the Day of Judgment owing to others. That's a disastrous situation, owing others.